it's Irene. I'm going to be going over a Team for Alliance this season so you can clear with just one team. This team managed to get me top 5 on the Hollyberry server and a sub 200 second clear. So let's get straight into it. The team consists of Stormbringer, Black Lemonade, Twizzly Gummy, Pure Vanilla Awakened and Marshmallow Bunny. So first up we have Stormbringer. On Stormbringer you want to run 5 crit toppings, an unbuffed tart and a 4-line cooldown biscuit. You want to run max crit, around 25% damage resist, as much amp buff as you can and as many crit subs as you can as well. For Stormbringer you're going to want her Crystal Gem to be at level 10. Next up we have Black Lemonade. On Black Lemonade you want to run 5 cooldown toppings, a cooldown tart and a 4-line electric damage biscuit. You want to run around 25% damage resist, as much cooldown as you can and as much attack as you can as well. Ideally, Black Lemonade should be getting Whistle. Next up we have Twizzly Gummy. On Twizzly Gummy you want to run 3 crit toppings, an amp buff topping, a cooldown topping and an amp buff tart, and a 4-line cooldown biscuit. Now on Twizzly Gummy you want to run max crit, around 25% damage resist, amp buff subs and cooldown subs. I personally run this much amp buff, around 25%, because Twizzly Gummy kept losing stacks between waves 4 and 5 and between waves 6 and 7. If you don't have this problem, you can run less amp buff on Twizzly Gummy, running a cooldown or a crit topping instead of the amp buff topping, and this should give you a faster clear, but you need to make sure that she doesn't lose stacks, because if she does lose stacks you're going to be losing a lot of damage and therefore the clear will be much slower, so really it swings and roundabouts. I personally found that if I only ran an amp buff tart it wasn't enough amp buff and my Twizzly Gummy kept losing stacks, so really just to save my own sanity I decided to run an amp buff topping instead. For Twizzly Gummy she should also be getting Whistle and you're going to want her magic candy to be at least level 10, however mine is at level 30. And then we have Pure Vanilla Awakened. On Pure Vanilla Awakened you want to run as much damage resist as you can, around 15% cooldown, as much attack as you can and as much crit as you can. So I personally run 3 damage resist toppings, 1 attack topping, 1 crit topping and a crit tart, and then I run damage resist, I run 1 line of damage resist and 3 lines of cooldown on the biscuit. And then finally we have Marshmallow Bunny. On Marshmallow Bunny you want to run 35% cooldown and 30% amp buff, and then as much attack as you can. I personally use 1 cooldown topping, 2 amp buff toppings, 2 attack toppings and an amp buff tart and a 4-line cooldown biscuit. For the team leader on this run, you can either choose Pure Vanilla Awakened or Stormbringer. Now, either one of them works. Stormbringer will be a faster clear, but Pure Vanilla Awakened will keep you alive better. So, between me and my guildie, one of us cleared using Stormbringer and I personally used Pure Vanilla Awakened as leader. Now, I couldn't get Stormbringer leader to work because my Twizzly Gummy kept dying. So, if you have that problem, I would recommend using Pure Vanilla Awakened as leader. If you feel that you don't have any issues dying at all, you can use Stormbringer as leader instead. The important artifacts I used for this team were plus 30 electric, plus 20 fire, plus 10 ice and plus 10 darkness. I also did level up a couple more, but these ones aren't really that important. I'd recommend focusing on electric, fire, ice and dark first, and then you can work on leveling up more if you want to. So here's the run. And so there is the run. I hope that this video helped you guys clear Alliance this season. If you enjoyed, I'd really appreciate if you liked and subscribed. If you have any comments, thoughts or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time. Bye!